Hey there, Ricky from Towards Better, and today I want to share with you some tips around helpful support that I learned from assisting my sons to ride their bike and rollerblade to school. So the first thing that we did was we identified a role goal. This is a goal for a valued role. So in this case, there were several. One was to acquire a new role, which is to be more independent students, to be bike rider and rollerblader. And the sub goal in there for my older son was to be in the role of helpful brother. So there were some goals there that informed our actions and what we had to do. So we trialed some smaller steps. Did they know how to rollerblade and ride their bike? Did they know how to safely do it and identify pathways? What about riding a bike and carrying something such as a backpack? Then we also had to identify when the timing was that might happen. So that was going to be before school. And that meant we had to allow enough time because there might be extra time when you're trying things out. This is different than thinking about an activity or an outing. We weren't just trying to aim to be, this is a fun thing, Dad, let us do once. This is going to be a progression to be fully in that valued role of independent school student. And so we then had to have a plan. So what was the route? What were the expectations? What to do if something went wrong? What did I expect of each child? What about the safety aspect? And that was key because sometimes we just try to jettison into action and she'll be right. Or we overprotect and it leads to inaction. So we had to have a bit of a plan. And that informed then what I was going to do as the supporter, the alongsider. We had to make sure the grouping was right. So I knew that one kid riding on their own wasn't going to be ideal, especially for the younger sibling. He needed to be paired with the older sibling. So we had to make sure that they weren't doing it alone. That added an element of safety. They could watch each other. So the younger son knew which way to go because the older one knew the pathway. And so we had to make sure that was okay. And then my role as a supporter had to be clear. I wasn't doing it for them, but I had to be present and encouraging. But did I have to ride with them? No, I didn't. Could I drive my car slowly? Could I drive and kind of stop at certain points along the way? Yeah. So I knew my role was clear, that I was going to be kind of a little bit of the guide and just be encouraging. As it so happened, I had to be in close enough distance in case my son's chain came off of his bike. And then I realized that an additional competency that we'll have to work on with my younger son is riding his bike and carrying his backpack, more so adjusting it so it fits properly. Because at one point I had to carry the backpack so that he could competently ride his bike. So we've got a future, there's progression to the role goal. And the struggle did happen. He fell over. His chain came off. My other son was being impatient. I validated those feelings that, yep, it's frustrating. I supported him to go, is this something we can keep going forward? We only have a little bit to go. Do you want to keep going? And we moved forward. We didn't let it stop progress. Sometimes we want to save people in our supporter role. We see the struggle. And then we got there in the end and we celebrated. We shot some hoops at school, ran around, gave high fives, cuddles, verbal praise. We celebrated that was something. So there's some principles in there that we can use in our roles as supporters. Too often we want to jump in. We want to step in early. We don't have the right support in the right moment. We think support needs to be, side by side all the time, chained to this person. And so it can be more invisible. It needs to be. We don't want to be a wedge there. And sometimes people need someone to believe in them more than they believe in themselves. And helpful support really grows the person, not the dependency. They're not dependent on me now. We can then make a plan to slowly progress that. And celebration is part of the support as well as the struggle. So I hope in that video that there's something you can take away that I've learned from starting the plan to assist my kids to ride and rollerblade independently to school that is helpful for your own role as a supporter. Is anything you learned from this? I'd love to comment, send me an email, send me a message, and go well.